Mayegun don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary political. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not day of in mind. Oh, yo, yo. Where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun the command of the masses. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live.
Lórí YouTube, Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Remember, share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them that Mayegun today. Read the caption of the broadcast. At the same time, read the description as well. It's going to be an interesting night. Again, share the broadcast.
Godfather is in. Kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary. Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́gọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Mayegun diary. Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary.
Have you seen the video of Obasanjo humiliating the Yoruba Obas in Ibadan, or at a road commissioning in your state? Today, it is so cringy and annoying. I'll show you.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube,
also, just a few days ago or 2 days ago, the propaganda of Tifnumbu, APC, Egbekegbe, announced the lifting of the visa ban on Nigeria and Nigerians by the UAE with immediate effect. The truth of the matter is that never happened. And right now, the UAE has actually confirmed it to the CNN that they never had such agreement with Nigeria. Nothing like that happened. And fraudsters Otobokeyamo, the aviation minister, also came out to say, we don't know when they are going to lift the ban. Genje, àwọn Genje gbájúẹ̀, share the broadcast. Naira has further crashed, and it is just so tiny bit, a little more, to cross to 1,000 Naira to $1. It is happening. Just some other side info. Tonight is mainly an open mic where you who lives in diaspora, you actually live in the diaspora, we would like to hear your story. Why did you leave Nigeria? What was that thing that finally, it was like, this is it. This is the final thing I'm going to actually take. If I have a chance, I'm going to leave this country. You've left Nigeria for a while. This program tonight would like to hear your story, collate them together for the education of those who probably are also going to be watching. Do you understand? So share this broadcast before we go straight into that embarrassing, humiliating moment that Obasanjo commanded Yoruba Obas to stand up. Stand up. Whenever you go to a public gathering and the president is there and the governor is there, whenever you want to greet them, you have to stand up. Edide.
ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí. Máyégún ti pé.
So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you, and then good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun again. And thank you so much for joining me. If you have already paid your own offering, like the broadcast, shared it, and right now you are already a subscriber, that's it. And you can sit back and relax and enjoy this. I was preparing, just as I promised yesterday, that we would have a moment on Mayegun's Diary Political today. There will be an open mic all through, where people will call in, share their own story, and then answer a few questions like, after all these years that you've left Nigeria, what is on your mind? I mean, watching from far, what is your own, plan? Things like that, so that we can have a very, very kind, deeper convo around these subjects. But while I was preparing for that, this video just surfaced on my own loop. And that was Obasanjo. Initially, right, I have seen video of a newly completed road constructed by Seyi Makinde in Oyo. And this new kind of, link road, right, he invited Obasanjo to come and commission it. Oban Paro got there, the old man, I don't know what got into him. I've still been trying to figure it out in the last few hours when I came across that video. I'm going to start with that because I'm a Yoruba man, yeah? And I'm expected to respect the royal stools. You know what I mean? I am not kind of allowed per se with public perception to publicly criticize the occupant of royal stools in Yoruba land. A lot of meaning will be read into it, just same way a lot of us are reading meaning into this. But this one is the bottom of the barrel. Obasanjo, today.
Ibi tí gómìnà bá wà tàbí president bá wà kò sí ọba náà ó láti dìde fún gómìnà tàbí fún president ẹ dìde.
It's like every day I have the full version, but something just tells me that for a lot of people to understand why Nigeria is what Nigeria is now. You see that clip I played yesterday? I'm going to repeat that clip today. The clip that explained, right, what would have been instead of what has been about Nigeria and why a lot is wrong with the current territory called Nigeria. And Obasanjo and his like, they are the lord of the manor. They are those who destroyed the traditional institutions in Nigeria. They reduced them completely. They were those who felt like immediately the second republic, the first republic after independence, when they were doing all the rearrangement of Nigeria to what you have today, and then put the royal fathers. People were like kings who led kingdoms, I mean, their own forefathers, right? Fighting kings. They put them under local government administration. It doesn't matter whether you are first class, second class, or third class, it doesn't matter. You are under the local government administration. So there is not going to be anything. The people that will be determining your fate, they are actually going to be the rung of the bottom of the barrier. So you're not going to have a chance and begin to feel like because you are a king, then maybe you have some level of supremacy or whatever, or competition with somebody who is president. Do you understand president? Somebody called president. So they downgraded the Nigerian traditionals to what it is today. And that condescending behavior that you just watched, I have the longer clip of it. But the genesis
have now been pushed to the fringes, talking about and believing and espousing the belief that Nigeria truly should be one.
We need to begin by resolving a conceptual crisis. What do I mean by a conceptual crisis? Quite often when we speak about Nigeria, we collapse the distinction between country, state, and nation. We tend to think that the three mean the same. We tend to think the three are synonyms. A country is a territory. From the Latin contra terra, the land that lies ahead of you. A country is a territory. It is not necessarily a nation. A nation is an association of peoples. And I use that word in the plural deliberately because of diversity. A nation is an association of peoples who identify their shared core values. And on the basis of their shared core values, they give themselves a constitution which will now establish institutions that make up the state. What we have in Nigeria and in most African countries is a confusion where we think the nation is the state. The nation is reduced to the state. We have a country quite all right by the fact that we live within a territory, even if that territory is not secure, as we all know. But we don't have a nation. We have institutions that make up the state. We collapse the nation into the state. If you look at our constitution, section 2 of the current constitution, and you don't find this in the 1963 constitution, it ascribes sovereignty not to the people but to the state. That is dangerous. That means the state has the last say on any question. That means the state is more powerful than the citizen. That is a recipe for impunity. Because as we all know, the state is the head of state, or the governor, or whoever represents them. Whatever they say, we all have to comply, whether they're right or wrong. So we don't have a democracy in the true sense of the word.
Oh my God.
And until we have that, until we build a nation, we can't even talk of unfinished greatness. And I have to make a critique of the title of Governor Fayemi's book. It presupposes that there is a project that is unfinished. I am saying we have not even started the project.
Oh my God.
And we need to stop deluding ourselves. What are our shared core values? What are the things that bring us together, apart from the super egos? You know...
So now we can go back to Obasanjo. Because some people are like, whatever was within him, we have seen Obasanjo as old as he is, right? Over 80 years as well. He has paid respect to different royal stools. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Especially in Yoruba land, it will prostrate, it will kind of follow everything. But what could have happened? That at that point, you know, he just threw all caution into what? Into the wind. And I was talking to somebody about it. You know what they told me? They said, Baba, Nigeria is going through something that Nigerians have not ever seen before. That is like AD. The criminals that are ruining and destroying Nigeria, APC, Egbekegbe, they are telling themselves that they are doing the greatest job, the best job. Sure, you get that those who are complaining, they are those who are enemies of Nigeria. So you see the mix, what you call the miss point there now, Abi? Nigerians who are going through the hell because of APC, Egbekegbe, that are lamenting and complaining. APC, Egbekegbe feels like they are doing so well that they have to continue, which now makes it look like, oh, everybody now die, everybody die. So when they talk to the citizens, they talk down on them. Abi? So what could have entered Obasanjo other than the main impunity that the system represents? You know? But it is kind of more than that. Afi BAD.
Ẹjọ́. Ẹ̀yin lọ́balọ́ba orí adé mo kí yín kú jókòó. Ẹ ṣé tẹ́ wà ń bí. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ nǹkan kan. Ibi tí gómìnà bá wà tàbí president bá wà kò sí ọba náà ó ń láti dìde fún gómìnà tàbí fún president. Ẹ dìde. Ẹ jókòó. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ nílẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire nǹkan méjì là ń bọ̀wọ̀ fún among others. Age, ọjọ́ orí àti ipò. Gómìnà ní ipò tójú tí ẹ ní ọba lọ nígbà tó bá ṣe gómìnà. Tó bá ṣe gómìnà mọ́ even ìgbà tí mo ṣe president mo ń dọ̀bálẹ̀ fọba ṣùgbọ́n tí n bá wọ yàrá ọba ó dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún mi. So ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbé àṣà wa ká gbé lárugẹ.
Did you get that? Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba, I will explain. Obasanjo wanted to demonstrate that a governor, according to Nigeria, which is true, no thanks to people like him, they did it. So he wanted to demonstrate that the governor of a state is more powerful than any Oba. It is true. The president of the country is more powerful than any Oba. It is true. But is that right? Does that make it right? No. So to demonstrate that, he ordered them to stand up, then sit down. So he now started explaining to them that even when he was president, he prostrated for king, which we can now see that is not actually because he's a cultured man. It was all for photo op. So that when people see him do that, they will say, see Obasanjo say it. But normal, he knows that those people, by all standard, by the formation of Nigeria, okay, they are absolute lackeys. They are just nothing. Do you understand? So to demonstrate that, he told them to stand up and sit down. And then he told them that our culture, we must do everything to respect our culture because two things matter in our culture, talking about Yoruba culture or tradition. that age and position. So what he meant there was that if you see somebody who is an old man, you must be careful, okay? And then if you see somebody who is in a position of authority, whether young or old, our culture is all about what? To just bow and obey them, which is not true. Do you see the problem now? Do you see the problem now? The people who are supposed to promote value, morality, the culture of value that we are talking about, which are the main ingredients that actually formulate society to whatever they are, any society you are today, the moral and then what you call of those who are before them, sustained until all of us came here, is what forms society. But when you have what do you call it, egomaniac lunatics, opportunists, instead of them to actually build a nation or a country where people actually have core value, they were building their own individual, what do you call it, personalities. And that is why Nigeria today have very, very powerful people, but weak institutions. Do you understand? These are the architects of Nigeria that you have today, Obasanjo and the rest of them. But this is the society they formed. Yoruba culture of Obas. Obas who are like the head of states in their own different kingdoms. Yoruba kingdom with different first-class Obas who have history of how they became those Obas. How their forefathers, they were not honored. They didn't become king or what have you because they were rich. These were warriors who actually fought and protected their own people within the territory that is today Yoruba land of part of Nigeria. But now you have ceremonial Obas, political Obas. Of course, I know the whole thing has been bastardized. But can they do anything worse than all of this, showing to us that everything you read about Yoruba Obas, in the book and everything, you go and check it if I am lying. You will be hearing about Oba Kosoko, 14 Kinikon, Oba Adegolu, 18, Oba Adegolu, 12 Kinikon. And then when they write all their stories, you are kind of mesmerized. You are inspired. Something tells you of where you come from. When you look at all the Yoruba Obas, they have history. But go and look at all of these Obas today that you have in Yoruba land. Since at least, let's say since 1800. Go and check all the history of those Yoruba Obas. You will see those who actually fought to resist what we are having today. They fought to keep their territory. And they died fighting it. Some of them exiled. But from 1900, from the 20th century, go and look at the Yoruba Obas. Go and start looking at the rest of them. There is no actually any history of many who fought for, like, to fight against what they are currently being, subjected to today. But I'm just saying, we are here, 21st century. Now, if you want to read about Yoruba history, go and start reading all the Obas who actually make the Yoruba history. They were not ceremonial. They were not honored. They were not rich before they became what they become. But look at these ones today who are their own great grandsons. Are they not the descendant of those Obas? When you see Alaafin of Oyo, read the story of the Alaafins. When you hear the story of, the history of Ataoja Oshogbo, Shonwo Ogbomoso, go and read all the stories of the prominent Yoruba Obas in history, and then go and look at all of those who are occupying the position today, what they have been subjected to, courtesy, a supposed Yoruba man, Obasanjo. Now, that is our culture. Our culture now is that whether you are wearing the Oduduwa crown on your head, when you see one criminal holding the position of president of Nigeria, because they've subjected you to what? To local government staff. Crown Oba, you have to stand up and greet him. It's not about him. It's the position he's holding. Meanwhile, there was nowhere Yoruba signed anything like this. There was no treaty that said Yorubazo, traditional Yorubazo, they signed a treaty with Nigeria for independence that made them submit all of their sovereignty. But since the colonialists took it from them, killed those they could kill among us, subdued them, so the sovereignty was submitted to the Oyinbos already, the colonialists. Now, when the government came back to Diwi, Dudu and Dudu, black to blacky, they sustained it. They didn't return the power back to them. That was why those who are the first independence Yoruba Obas, some of them had to contest for political offices, so in order to balance the power they really needed to impact on their people. What do you call it? Alaafin of Oyo. Oba Adesoji Aderemi even became the premier of Western region, or Ni of Ife. This was how everything was like until it became watered down, that we have political Obas today. Oh yeah, Dide, they will Dide. Oh yeah, Joko, they will Joko. And they will now turn to all of us, this generation, and say, that is our culture. That is our tradition. So if people like me, Mayeguna said, Konida Fuyi Baba, ni kure, they will say, I no get respect. Shoma, you should that Baba Isha. Are these ones guaranteeing anything that actually protect the interest of Yorubas to say the Yoruba, if we continue this way, Yoruba will not go into extinction. Like this. Today, Yoruba, ridiculous,
ẹjọ́ ẹ̀yin lọ́balọ́ba orí adé mo kí yín kú jókòó ẹ ṣe tẹ́ wà ń bí ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ nǹkan kan. Ibi tí gómìnà bá wà tàbí president bá wà kò sí ọba náà ó ń láti dìde fún gómìnà tàbí fún president ẹ dìde. Ẹ jókòó. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ nílẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire nǹkan méjì là ń bọ̀wọ̀ fún among others. Age, ọjọ́ orí àti ipò. Gómìnà ní ipò tójú tí ẹ ní ọba lọ nígbà tó bá ṣe ń ṣe gómìnà. Tó bá ṣe gómìnà mọ́ even nígbà tí mo ṣe president mo ń dọ̀bálẹ̀ fọba ṣùgbọ́n tí n bá wọ yàrá ọba ó dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún mi. So ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbé àṣà wa ká gbé lárugẹ.
It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian. It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian.
Because that's the most I can actually say to it. Because what the hell? These are the elders, yo. These are those who we are looking up to, Abi. We should be looking up to. Irresponsible people who don't know that they are actually committing irresponsibility and they still don't want to be responsible. She life ni. And did you see the Obas? Nobody say I actually they have any way out of it anyway. I just don't know how long it's going to take them to possibly scrap them, and they can just take all of them and say, well, imagine Oba. Do you know what it makes to be a king in Yoruba land? Now, all of you are now just watching Yoruba movie. They are where you can now see all the desecration of that same Oba, a king, and God knows, God help. So now you have the reality, right there, political Obas. They are the same of those ones. So those are the ones that are going to say, "Ma fori ade shepe fun ori ade wirewo, ori ade noda." because of that beaded cap that you put on. Be careful. Don't let me use Ori Ade to curse you. I can use this if I open this crown. If I say, I can say you can die in self. We are watching how you are all playing your part in desecration of what is supposed to be the unique Yoruba culture and tradition. And the main symbol of that tradition and culture, we are seeing all of you desecrating all of that. Humiliating all of that. And then all around you say, hey, I'm here, Beru Agba. Anyi Agba no da. Sheyin Agba no re. Do you even care like we're actually seeing you? Or you are just irresponsible that you feel like nobody should kind of hold you responsible for anything because you are Agbalagba. Ewu ori tó ti ń die nsìn, you will see ewu ori lórí ọmọ kékeré tó look perfect, tó máa look original white. Ewu ori ò lọ́gbọ́n kò kọ́gbọ́n. And desecrates what is actually meant to be something of pride. That's everything around it represents the true Yorubaness, something they call Omoluabi that radiates that royalty. No, criminals, it take over everywhere. And then they turn around, they start threatening the young people not to say anything if they want to grow old. Look at you. If this is what it is to behold, it is actually better for a person to die young. Sorry, some of you may be there. I reject it in Jesus' name. I'm just trying to let you see this. When you look at all these old criminals, when you look at what they are actually doing, the contribution they are making to the degeneration of what Nigeria has become, including the bleak future that Nigeria currently have, you go wish to grow old and become these useless people too. I say, be careful. If you want to grow old, look at these useless old men and women, irresponsible old men and women. If that is what it is to grow old, is it not better for a person to die young? That's why a lot of you will want to grow old, not to be like them. Look at them. They ruin a country. They ruin the people. And they are not even taking responsibility for it. And here we are. Even culture, tradition, everything, all in the gutters. So everybody is kind of, it is, I mean, anyway, that may be a little bit personal, but let's go a little bit further. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you are currently tracking the Tifnubunomics. For a lot of you, they told that very soon you will be seeing the results of Tifnumbu's magic or whatever he is doing, Abi. And I told you that even though some of you would want to say, give them time, and I said, Saturday that is going to be a little bit better, you would have started seeing the sign on Friday. If that Sunday is going to be a kind of a better Sunday, there is going to be a chance that you would have been having the feeling from Saturday. You see, with Tifnumbu is going to be different from Bokwari. His first actions, right, would have shown that he's taking a different direction. Baba, in fact, the direction is now kind of taking you right now. By the time you arrive at your destination, whether you are their supporters or you are not their supporters, the wind that is about to blow Nigeria now, survive well. Ma begin to explain. First, update. Update is that when Bokwari was leaving and handing over to Tifnumbu, Bokwari has already emptied the house. Oti bali obaja, oti jali obaja everywhere. Everywhere don't empty. It don't bad. Nigeria don't bad. Not only that, they removed the roof, removed the fittings of the building, like a whole building, right? Somebody moved into your house after 8 years. By the time you go back to that same house to give the house to another, by the time you are ready to move in another tenant, you realize that not only that all of the fittings in the house are gone, the windows, the doors were gone, okay? The roof is gone, Baba. Now you have started seeing that, Baba, some of the blocks, they've carved some holes on some walls and they've taken away some of the blocks as well. In fact, what you have left is just the frame of a house that looks like a house that is about to be demolished. Do you understand that description I just gave you now? That was what Nigeria is, but in numbers. Now, let me explain that. When Boko Haram took over Nigeria, the debt of Nigeria was put at somewhere around 40 billion or so. No, hang on. It was put at $13 billion. Right. $13 billion at the time put Nigeria debt somewhere around 7.5 trillion naira. Are you listening? That was the economy they handed over to Boko Haram. The number of unemployment in Nigeria when they took over, they said officially was somewhere around 13 million as well, right? The naira to dollar was somewhere around 190 naira to a dollar, okay? The economy of Nigeria was based, okay, or rebased, and they said the economy of Nigeria was somewhere around $520 billion, the biggest in Africa. And it was one of the 3 fastest growing economy in the whole world. And they also said, with Nigeria economy continue at what it was then, even though poverty do, sure you get now. They say if Nigeria economy continue at that rate at the time, it's going to be one of the greatest the greatest 3 economy, emerging economy in the world by 2020. Alaye, that was just 5 years before the disaster. Now, let's just fast forward that. The foreign reserve of Nigeria was put at somewhere around $38 billion. The, what do you call it? The excess crude account of Nigeria was somewhere around $7.5 billion. I'm giving you right figures now. And you can Google them. I'm not making them up. So don't think I'm just talking. No. You should pay attention to what I am saying. So when Boko Haram took over, ladies and gentlemen, and then when Boko Haram left, Baba, we'll start from the central bank. The debt of Nigeria jumped from what they said was 7-point-something trillion. And they put the dollar somewhere around the $13 billion. Okay? Now, Nigeria debt after Boko Haram has jumped to over $120 billion. Today, they said Nigeria debt is has grown by 75%. 87 trillion naira. The total debt of Nigeria, as you are watching this video right now, is over 150 trillion naira. I'll break it down for you. Okay? Boko Haram alone, in his own scandalous period, took over $80 billion loan. 80 billion. Show me dada. 80 billions. Or billions. You understand? He took that alone with nothing to show for it. Nothing. Then, between 1967 to 2015, Central Bank of Nigeria, in what they call the ways and means, they printed APC Now listen to this. Central Bank of Nigeria, for over 40 years, they've only printed and loaned, what they said, 700 billion naira, less than 1 trillion naira in 40 years. What they call the ways and means is that if the Central Bank of Nigeria is the bank of the federal government, okay? Whenever federal government sell crude oil or they collect tax, the way where they keep all their money is in central bank. That's where they have the accounts. Because they always have money with central bank, So central bank, whenever Nigeria write budgets and they say, oh, we are expecting that our budget is going to be 100 naira. But all the money we are going to make is going to be 90 naira. But we believe that we can always cover up that 10 naira. Central bank borrow us 10 naira to balance this budget. When we make more money, we'll pay you back that 10 naira. For 40 years, from military to civilian, for 40 years, the total money Central Bank of Nigeria has borrowed government in Nigeria has been 700 billion naira. Between 2015 and 2023 of APC, Emefiole has printed over 50 trillion naira. 50 trillion naira. Officially, they said it was 24 trillion. This guy, Sanusi, came out and said, well, if it is what I know, this guy, they printed more than 40 trillion naira. That's what Sanusi said. And Sanusi is the former emir of Kano, former central bank governor, and he's also a whistleblower. He's a regular face. You know him. 40 trillion. To do what? What did they do with it? 8 years. Inflation everywhere. A bag of rice jumped from 7,500 naira, 50 kg bag of rice, from that to 55,000 naira. A bag of gari, 50 kg gari, jumped from 6,500 naira to over 40,000 naira today. And everything like that just change. Within that, they also opened the door. Mr. Corruption Fighter, Nigeria started losing 700,000 barrels of crude oil every day. Every day. 700,000 times 10. That is 7 million barrels, 10 days. Chongbo, 7 million barrels, 10 days. For 30 days, that is 21 million barrels. That was how much crude oil Nigeria was losing every month to God knows who. 21 million barrels of crude oil every month. And Nigeria lost it for straight 7 years. Nobody was caught until 2 months to the end of handover. They started seeing ship that they are setting ablaze. They emptied Nigeria. This is what they gave to Kolu. When they gave this to Kolu, Kolu now told you it will continue from where Boko Haram stops. Is that not a threat? I remember I did a program on it and I said, that thing sounded like a threat too. When Kolu said it will continue from where Boko Haram stops, if you ask me, it would be like saying a threat to life. A lot of you who survived Boko Haram, 2015, 13.5 million unemployed. 2023, over 80 million unemployed. Poverty jumped from 7% to over 60%. Businesses folded up. Nigeria lost over 70% of its revenue. And within that same period, Nigeria is servicing a debt with 98% of its own revenue. Almost 100% of revenue generated is not to pay back loan, no, it is just to service the loan so that you don't get charges. Now the house where Tifnubu carry bag enter be that. When they tell Nigerians after reaching the balcony, getting to the roof, getting to the slab, and he looked at and he said, it will continue from where Boko Haram stop. I said, straight to life, Unio. No, we don't need his body. We need his brain. Nobody, even though, apart from, those ones, Now, this Nigeria is actually a very good country. Apart from the bad governance that we have. Those ones. Tinubu is not that bad. Apart from that drug dealing case that they are talking about. I think Tinubu is not that bad. If not, apart from that corruption, if we take out that corruption, Nigerians, we want him to recreate what he did in Lagos. Sure, you get. Mayegun, you need to understand that this country, the people who actually abused me, reported my page repeatedly for 8 years simply because I was exposing APC, Egbekegbe, Boko Haram, Pastor Ruga. all of this jihadists, they called me enemy of Nigeria. People who were like, who tried everything to shut me down. Tifnumbu came in. They started agreeing that Bokwari destroyed Nigeria. And Tifnumbu needs time to fix it. That in fact, Bokwari is a kiniko. So tí mo bá ń ṣépè fún yín, tí mo bá ń ṣépè, ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pọ́rọ̀ yín ti pè, ìpè ló máa pa yín tìrantìran. 8 years of ruined lives. They were always on Mayegun's diary political. Shut up your mouth. Come back home. Come and shake kiniko. And they were supporting and they were saying, Nigeria will be great one day. Nigeria is going to be great. Nigeria is kiniko. They were supporting this APC. Egbekegbe. 2 days, Tifnumbu came and he said, subsidy is gone. Elenu nyama, the druggy. 200 million people. Kolu, Baba no regret it. He came out, subsidy is gone. They say, hey, he has a political will. Olori Buruku fine barras, yo. Then they said, okay, we are now planning palliative. By the time Tinubu roll out the palliative, everybody will know that Tinubu mean well. I want we reagire bi. I was here, and I said, AJ yalaye wa gbolorun. Àwọn torun a wò pé kí ló dé, kí la people yìí ṣe? You understand? When dead people, they look at the map and they see all of you, they say, is that Nigeria? They say it's Nigeria. Kí la people yìí ṣe? What did they do? AJ ya. I'm not wishing it on you, but the results are already coming out. So Kolu now came out. Subsidy is gone. We are going to save money. We are going to invest in money. The same script. No plan, no. They had no plan. Nothing. I know the results don't come out. And it don't come out too fast. The debt of Nigeria, that I know of, not all the ones they are still putting under the book. They are not telling you now, okay? The total debt of Nigeria, local and foreign, just put it at $150 billion. Toba Shesi Naira, Omo Yami, we are now looking at 130 to 140 trillion naira gbese. Ti Nigeria ti ba Nigeria lowo yi. You see that Naira, Naira, some of you, if time permit them very well, in 8 years, you will be using your wheelbarrow to carry Naira. Or you will have 10,000 Naira notes. You have 20,000 Naira notes, okay? You have 50,000 Naira notes. If it's life in law here, but just am I rush? Now small, you go get there. These criminals are saying something, you are believing them. They are speaking grammar, and then they are putting people out there to begin to explain to you. Shey policy that will help you require interpreter ni? Any policy that is going to help millions of people, show by interpreter ni, show to by into mama explain it for any. Now, when the fraud they inside down, now then you go know say the intention is not to help you, it is to take advantage of you, and that's what they do. What did they do? Subsidy gone. We are going to now there. We need loan. How much do you need? If you ever see $1 billion, $1 billion. Okay, you think say 1 billion go there enough? Oh yeah, make a 2 billion. Are you sure? Yeah, make a 3 billion. You better talk now. All this one that you are not making up, fair. What do you want? It's just that we have told the people that we will not borrow money, and I don't know if I should ask. Oh yeah, make a 6 billion. within a space of 3 months, Tifnumbu's government have already taken over $7 billion loan in Naira and in dollar, in crude oil swap, or this or that. Somehow, they're now saying that this report you are witnessing is just like a back end from that of Boko Haram. They now announced that fake. This thing that you are seeing on the screen is fake. The figure number is fake. You see where they put 87 trillion. That one they say 87.3 trillion. Baba, I advise you, the right figure there is 147 trillion. But me had the 60 trillion. Mokiakia, Joe, Adam. That's the total figure. You see where they said $113 billion. When you put it in dollars as Nigeria debt, Omo Yami, just me had the 37 billion more. Add 37 billion to it. $150 billion. That is the debt of Nigeria. Surely it only here. It is to kind of manage it. You know, they hate it. This is why they hate social media. They say social media will pick something so small, they will elaborate it. Do you understand? Because they love to be in control of information dissemination. So that from the source to the consumer, all of you, they already package it. So that it can look like, say, that debt is too much. Oh. But I thought Mayegun said it's 150 billion. Actually, it's just 113 billion. So you got to buy. Do you understand that way? Once you read them and you say, I thought that Mayegun said it's 150 billion. Actually, it is just 113 billion, Sha. It's just 113 billion. So that their propaganda has worked on you. Sure you get. So from that way, they will say, if Mayegun that said it's 150 billion, listen, original figure is 113 billion. Don't listen to him again, no. How many other things that he's already told you that are lies? Omo Yami, Omo Nkoni. You see, when person wey dey blind, he know they see. Can't tell them, say, hey, Joe, take me to the market. Whether the market is full or is empty, even when nobody say anything, Baba, if you are not a dumbo, you go know, even if you are blind, Abi. Listen to this one. Kawentama believe no amejeju. In 2015, a bag of rice was 7,500 naira, 50 kg neo, 50 kg. Minimum wage in Nigeria was 22,000 naira. No, sorry, 18,000 rather, 18,000. That was Jonathan's minimum wage, 18,000. So if you get paid 18,000 naira, you can buy yourself a bag of rice, pay your house rent a month of 2,000, pay, what do you call it? Get yourself some other food as well, but a bag of rice, what do you want to take a bag of rice to? Half bag of rice, which means with your 18,000 naira, you know, be say you rich, you are still kind of poor, but at least, you can just say, okay, when I take my salary, this is what I do, this is what I do. You understand? Poverty level, 87 million people poor, 2015. Then 2023, after APC, they said inflation call. You know, when they say inflation is 20%, now die you. But you see, 20% means if you buy a bag of rice for 7,500, what is the 10% of 7,500? 750. Washiri. Now, what is another 10% again? 750. Very smart. Add 750 to 750. Odelo, 15. Now, if they now say there is inflation of 20%, that simply means your bag of rice of 7,500 is now being sold for 9,000 naira per bag. Sheto Tony. Is that true? they told you that inflation in Nigeria is 20%. 20%. Our economics so full. But you were that just read it in the newspaper. Everything has gone up by 20%. 20%. Then you go to the market and they say, give me that tomato bag of rice. We read it in the papers now that everything has gone up by 20%. Where is this country going into? Anyway, give me 2 bags. I go pay cash. They say, okay, 2 bags. Oh, yeah. They pack the bags. You can't bring out 18,000 naira. They go burn you there. They go say you can't do one juju there. You know what Nigeria has become today. So who now lied to you? Mayegun, that told you that if a bag of rice from 7,500 is today 50,000 naira, Papa, how many 7,500 are you going to see in 50,000? Me, I no go school to do economics, so. But when my money dey short, I don't need an economist to tell me how much of that economy is affecting me. I don't need grammar. How many 7,500 are you going to see in 50,000? 7,500, 15,000, 22,500, 22,500, 23, 30,000, 30,000. How do you do it too? 7,575. That's 15,000, 13 here. 7,575, 15,000. You are going to see almost 7,500 in a 50,000, which means the money you are going to use to buy 1 bag of rice today, would normally buy 7 bags. Baba now, say you need economists to tell you pé olórí burúkú na people yi. Do you need an economist to tell you pé when they say inflation is 23%? Mayegun is saying that inflation is 800%. They say, Mayegun, that's not how to calculate economics. She shunu ni. She wine ni wani. Minimum wage cannot even buy a bag of rice. You dey speak English. You dey calculate board math. She wine ni wani. We want somebody to make people understand that's exactly what it is. But when it is government, they need to manage the information so that you are not going to say, kini yemi ni Mayegun? I say, whoa, the bag of rice is 800%. Bag of kilotin pe pampasi. You know, they are even selling a Go Circle condom for 1,000 naira. Now, people are beginning to practice celibacy. Celibacy, you know. That one will be say, you go just say, I just want to reserve my body for God. You know that time when you say, I say, how much is baby milk now? He says, SMA Gold is now 10,000. Anyway, how much is Pampasi? And they say, Pampasi, full pack is now 11,500. Any, Baba, Go Circle is 1,000 naira. You have the choice. Choice is yours. You know? Economy. Something that nobody needs to sit you down and tell you. You could just sit down like this and say, Omo, my mind is like I should just be somewhere, you know, like with sunshine, very next to the sea, like a vacation. But the moment I check my bank balance, I realize that it can only take me to, instead of vacation, now depression. That is economy. That is real. That doesn't need English. It doesn't need formula. It doesn't need too much grammar. These are the things that are real. You can feel and say, Omo, ilu iti leo. And that's why I said, those of you who are watching tonight, if you have a chance of calling in, share your story. Tell us, what was that actually got you like, I say, Chooks, speak louder. I say, I don't even speak louder. Nigeria won't kill me, help me. I say, you go travel? I won't travel. If I don't leave this country, I go die. When was that stage? The Nigeria get a shock of it that you stop lying to yourself. This country is going to be a great country. When was that moment you begin to feel like, it is better to begin to love Nigeria from abroad, though? or else, iku ni mo nwo, iku re o. When? Because economy, you don't need too much English. Look around you. Tifnumbu in 3 months. They said they were going to do something with Naira. Naira is going to turn. It's going to shake. She just started speaking grammar. I said, oh, she will answer ye. What are they saying? We are talking about a market that is about demand and supply. If I come around and I enter Nigeria market today and I have $1 billion cash, except if I am mad, I'm just saying, but let's say I'm mad and I have $1 billion cash, and they are exchanging dollars for 917 naira, 918 naira to $1, almost $1,000. 1,000 naira to $1, and I have 1 billion. It's because people are not seeing the dollars. Most of the dollars available are in the hands of the politicians and their family members who are mostly now living outside Nigeria. They're living off all of this. The money is not in the hand of those who are going to multiply the money. Businessmen. Do you understand? That's the problem. That has always been the problem. It is still the problem.